artist.
Hello and welcome to week 4. I don't know if your screaming actually made it onto the stream.
Oh, that's good.
Screaming.
Where's I have to get to Twitch.
Don't worry, we'll wait for you.
Listen, you don't have to wait. I just, I'm on roll 20.
So,
I was gonna sass if
while
anyone
we're
wasn't on roll
waiting,
20.
Harry Potter.
No, we're not doing another Harry Potter conversation.
I'm for it.
So let's get into this, okay? So seriously, all he's getting is I'm not gonna be grumpy, but I'm really grumpy.
I just don't like Harry Potter. Okay, that's it.
I think
Can we kick Ollie from the chat? Like,
which Harry Potter house hates themselves? Because I'm that
Hufflepuff. Definitely Hufflepuff.
No, no, they like. I might as well own it.
I can sort of imagine Ravenclaw being full.
Yeah, you'd be like
probably
a
would be.
shitty Ravenclaw. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome to week 4 of Ardent. As I was saying to some people before the stream, this is the telling time. This is the session that decides the fate of the campaign, the path the players may take in space. Space path. Alright, I need to actually move my mic closer to my face. It's real far away right now. Hey! Alright. How's everyone doing over here?
I can't complain.
Yeah, you're super comfy right now, Will.
I'm in a
And that's
bed,
why I'm mostly jealous.
chilling.
Yeah. He's a bed boy.
I'm still in a relatively cheap.
You need to get like a better
Human
chair,
chair.
man. How many hours are you in that chair a day?
It's bizarre.
It's one of those things where it's like level of discomfort, financial investment. Have they
It's
come into
like a
line?
mattress. If
Yeah.
you work at your desk, you need a good chair.
He's a masochist, basically.
He's an
starting-
idiot,
I'm
basically.
starting to go
That's why he's just decided to spend 9 hours a
Well,
day.
that's the thing. That's the thing. A good chair is expensive, but I spend what 15 hours a day in this fucking chair, so I'm kind of was a good idea.
I agree.
Anyway, the show we're running. What happened last week? Yeah, the show must go on.
Would you like me to summarize?
Yeah, please do.
Right, train wreck incoming.
So we decided after some checks with our alien artifact that we had no clue what to do with it. So we decided to contact our employer and see whether we could get some external contractors in to do the job. These external contractors turned up and we docked. However, it also turns out that these external contractors were terrorists under the name of Excalibur.
Good job, man.
They may have been terrorists. We hope
May have been.
terrorists.
At least one of them was a terrorist.
Tattoo.
Maybe.
We had a single tattoo as evidence, and our first officer decided that was enough evidence to murder a hell load of people.
That's not how that went.
So the decision was made to protect the artifact from these pro-Pike terrorists. I nearly said Pyth there. Pro-Pike terrorists.
That was
and so
Monday.
We engaged in deadly ship combat with them, in which...
Even though you already had crew members on their ship with guns, you decided to go for a ship combat route.
Yeah, we should have fought face to face, like I said.
I just want to point that out.
And in about 3 turns, our weapons specialist destroyed their ship, no problem. Unfortunately, a wormhole ate us, took us to Pike now. So after a long, extended bit of ship combat involving repairing of our engines,
Chasing.
a little bit of cyber warfare to stop
It was legit like a 2.5 hour combat.
Yeah.
Probably
Probably longer because you actually had to chase them through space for a while.
But on
Hey,
the bright
I'm
side,
summarizing over here.
not a single person took damage though, because we didn't do face-to-face combat.
To prevent them from, we were already damaged, to prevent them from putting out a distress call. However, by the time we managed to destroy the ship, we were already close enough to Pike's orbit that it was detected. And we have ended with our heroes, pirates, being taken into custody, attempting to potentially alter or destroy a black box aboard the other ship, and persuade our loose ends, or tie up our loose ends, I should say, because it could go either way at this point.
Yes. So as literally the scene just before we ended last time, you were trying to work out what to do. Tom has the black box from the other ship, from the science vessel, and is trying to hide it somewhere or destroy it. We already took some information from it and is going to hide it because you took some information, not all. You have like sort of an information scrubber that just gets as much as possible, whereas a black box stores terabytes and terabytes and terabytes. What's above a terabyte? Is it a petabyte?
Petabyte.
I think.
Probably.
It's probably a petabyte of information.
It's a nerd bite.
So when you bite the nearest nerd.
And while he's going off to do that, Anna, your pilot, actually is like standing up on her chair, getting the black box in the roof of your bridge, because in these ships they're kept in the roof of the bridge. All the like information feeds upwards through the wires in the walls, and she is sort of pressing switches and things on the side. She just said, "I'll handle it," like sort of scrubbing the information from it, and apparently that's good enough. The patrol boats, essentially the border security force of the planet Pike, are coming up around you. They already communicated with you and handshook and were basically like, we're going to be tethering you and taking you for questioning. And you already said, okay. And you're trying to sort of do this while they're coming up. A couple of minutes after, you're starting to sort of scramble, you feel the ship shake because it's drifting. It was moving slightly, but you don't feel that in the ship. The ship shakes as it's actually tethered from the nose of the ship to the back of one of the patrol boats outside, and then you're being dragged. You're being sort of pulled along, like a car that's being like towed, essentially, towards a nearby border station. While that's going on, Tomaz, in his comfy bed. No, Tomaz, you are trying to hide this thing. You can either give me a. It would be a sneak, either intelligence or strength. And that's either whether you're trying to like find somewhere like real clever to hide it, or you're just gonna be like, I'm gonna tear away some panels and like put it back and make it look like nothing ever happened.
All right, I'm gonna intelligently hide it.
Give me that roll. That's real good. So you don't take that very long. You have been on board the Magpie for long enough. You've made these hidey holes. You know places you can hide where, just due to the arrangement of the ship and other things nearby, scans are incredibly unlikely to find something. It's still possible for someone to find something. This isn't a dedicated smuggling craft.
He's like, emergency O2 system. Don't need that. Hidey
I was
hole
literally
made.
thinking it would be like within like the O2 and water area. Like wherever you have like your O2 and water storage.
Just put in the gray water. Nobody cares about that.
Yeah. No, and also very few like ground troops are gonna actually look into the gray water storage. So you do that. What else did the rest of you want to do, Jason? You want to take care of the loose ends, aka the 4 unconscious people on your ship?
No, we don't care about the 4. We care
just
about,
care about the 1. When you go to your room and you unlock the door from the outside, the young woman, the scientist who is in her 20s or so, is unconscious on the floor with like a big bloody mark on the top of her head. You can very easily just look at the scene, and you already kind of assumed this because she was on you open on an open communication line. One of the times the ship got hit, she wasn't strapped down or sitting or anything. She was trying to open this door. She fell, hit her head on the table, and isn't being knocked out.
She's just been knocked out, though. Can I just confirm that one?
Oh, you can go ahead and give me a heal, intelligence or wisdom. You will be using intelligence, obviously, to sort of scan. She's probably gonna suffer from a concussion.
Okay, cool.
You have enough drugs like around that you can sort of maybe give her like a bit of a drip feed or something that will lessen the concussion from being like an actual danger to life or whatever. Or
I could give her anticoagulant and let her die of a hematoma.
Up to you.
No, I'm not.
I like how dark Jason is. I'm not sure if it's Jason or Neil though.
I'm gonna wake her up first and see.
The funny part is like like, not everybody would agree with that, but you're the doctor. Nobody would really know.
No, they wouldn't know.
Go ahead and give me another heal check to try and wake her up. She's outie. It was a way easier check than that. She comes to. Did you? Yeah, you just have her down on the ground. You probably like have some sort of like injector thing to properly like stim her up and like actually properly wake her up instead of her being like. She like actually's like ah! And like looks at you. She had glasses. They're like broken now. She looks up at you.
What was that name? I can't remember.
I don't remember if she gave you her name, but you.
The captain said it.
The captain said her name, and you have basically inside. You're smart. Her name was Lisa.
That was it.
Yeah.
I knew it began with an L. Lisa, I need you to listen to me quite carefully now. My shipmates would like to kill you to cover up any problem. However, if you negotiate with us and do as I say, you will get out of this with the sum total of my research knowledge from the alien artifact. This could be enough to springboard your career if you agree.
That's a talk charisma. Or intelligence, because you're... Nah, this is charisma. This is intimidation, essentially. It would be strength, but I'm fairly sure you are not a strong boy.
Well, what gave you that impression?
The fact that you need to have a 2 intelligence to get by.
I'm gonna expert that one.
Okay.
And I'm gonna diplomat that one to re-roll that one.
Can you do... Oh, man.
That's pretty funny.
10.
Okay, with a 10, she started sort of scooching away.
Oh, is it a 10?
It would be
no,
a 10.
it's a 9.
It's a 9. She started scooching away, staring at you with a look you've seen of someone who's clearly going through something and is trying to process it. In a couple of moments after she doesn't get all the way to the other side of the room, but they're very, like, it's not very far. She kind of like nods sheepishly. Give me a perception charisma, please. She starts like out of habit trying to clean her glasses, but
Notice, okay.
More. Notice. Sorry.
So while I'm doing this, I'm gonna. Well, after this, I'll start explaining. I have more to say, I guess.
Usually you do.
Is sort of like not screaming, not yelling anything now, but you think that maybe the promise of science is probably before her life was in danger, that was a very good ploy. Now she thinks she's going to die. And while she's probably going to do whatever she needs to do to survive. But she doesn't seem like the kind of person that would actually go to the extent of like trying to attack you or anything. But then you have the thought of
just round us.
She could just talk to this border security, yeah.
Okay. Stay there. You hit your head pretty hard. I'm going to load up the data and put it on a disk for you. And I'm going to move around to, like, her blind side and then sedate her.
Yeah. She's a sort of she's not fighting back. You can just sort of, like, in the neck and she just falls asleep.
Yeah, I'm gonna solemnly inject a very powerful anticoagulant in the neck. That given the brain trauma should result in a hematoma stroke that will render her
I as much as I kind of want to give you this for free, you're committing a murder. Give me a heal intelligence check.
It's one of those things where you tried to see if she'd cooperate, you weren't convinced, and say like, "Fuck it, I'll just kill her."
Yeah,
so that's kind of
exactly.
what's going on. It's pretty dark.
You don't know nothing.
Yeah, the black box is being scrubbed. So you do that, and you maybe spend a couple of moments checking with your bioscanner. She is deceased after maybe 5 minutes or so.
I'm also sorry to retcon slightly. I'll put some lift in her system as well.
Oh, which one's lift?
It just augments natural healing. So once brain activity's gone, I'm gonna put some lift in.
Okay. Interesting.
Make
I
it look
see-
like you tried.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
say-
I see what you're trying to do here, and we'll see how that goes. I don't think anyone else on the ship kind of really wanted to do anything. Those were kind of the objectives. So, the Magpie is being tethered. It takes maybe around 7 minutes, which is enough for both of these things to take place, for you to actually reach this little border station. What I mean by that is it's literally a satellite that has several modular parts attached to it, and most of you are aware of the existence of these things aside from maybe Rain, where they're just sort of modular satellites. There's probably multiple of them around the planet. There's multiple on the other planets and other areas, and they're basically a docking and restocking station for the border ships, as well as holding cells for pirates like you, or just all those sorts of things.
It's pretty assumptive.
Well, I'm
Presumptuous.
saying that as the DM. They actually have been very polite to you so far, the border security.
We're not pirates.
So they start bringing you into one of the docks, and this is much like the planet Shield you were on before, where it is because it's out in open space. They take you into a dock that is literally like door opens, and when both ships are brought in, their ship does a little sort of through your handshake, sort of overrides your security protocols and actually makes your ship start its landing right as yours is. So it's not actually that good a landing, but you land on your landing gear instead of just belly down. And both ships land, and then the back doors start like closing, and it starts refilling with atmosphere, like a giant airlock. In that time, you hear boot steps coming up to your cargo bay door, and they start opening it.
Okay. So obviously we're all at the cargo bay area. Like it's one of those we surrendered. We should all
Yeah,
show our
exactly.
hand effectively.
When
So we're all there.
when the cargo bay door opens, they maybe do a little bit of sort of stuff to slightly. Actually, would you have it openable by normal means, or would they have to hack it? I imagine because they're
No,
surrendering,
we're
you're just
surrendered. Like this is
unlock.
meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is meant to be as easy of a process as possible. Don't need to give them any reason to question us.
When they open up, there are 2 guards there. They are wearing proper military uniforms, and of this border security force, it is actually like this sort of deep, rich blue with slight orange highlights. And Pike's flag or color of the country is usually this kind of strong orange. So this kind of complements very well, and it's not designed for camouflage at all. But it's even then the orange isn't so prominent that it would give you away very much. They're even like full helmet as well. You can't see very much of the human. They're carrying big combat rifles that have the same sort of coloring and everything. And they're not pointing at anything. They're just holding them. And one of them sort of goes through the mask, just sort of like come with us.
We go with them.
Good.
Open fire!
Well, I gotta give you the chance, right? I gotta wait to see if one of you is gonna wild card hardcore.
I would say, like, with my hands up, prepared to actually move in, I would say, but our medic should inform you about people on board.
We'll get to that. Weapons on the ground.
That's fine. And I'll actually take a knife out and put it on the ground.
Yeah, I assume you all put your weapons on the ground, or you didn't take them with you to here.
My rifle and pistol are already stowed away. Yeah.
Yeah, if you wanted to hide them on your person, that would be some sort of check. And
Is hiding my fists a check?
That's one of the advantages of your character build, is that you
I know, it's like a monk.
You
I
can
know.
start your
I put
prison
my
life.
hands in my pocket.
I
They can
put
just
one
tell and
hand
punch
in
you.
my pocket.
As they
The
start
other one's
leading you out of the hangar, you have a good view of the other ship that brought you in. And this patrol boat has the same sort of slightly glossy blue color scheme, and it's almost like a jet because it's clearly designed to also go into orbit and atmosphere. It's a very pretty ship that Tomaz probably respects, and maybe Davis and Jason don't so much because it's like a Pike ship and it's very proudly a Pike ship. It's up to you guys. And Rain probably just likes that ship is blue.
Rain's still a bit out of it, really. She's just sort of looking around.
Yeah. You are dragged down multiple prefab corridors that are clean, but there's not much to them. You don't even see very much in the way of signage. And it's probably Jason and Davis, actually, because Davis has good know, who know that it's essentially probably all augmented reality. They have directions, you do not. Pretty smart on what is essentially a prison station. And they bring you down to an area of holding cells. The holding cells that they bring you down to are 6 rooms around a circular middle. And they start putting you each in one of the cells one by one. The smells have the cells have the smell of like I was about to talk about smell of like overuse of disinfectant, which while it's a clean smell, it makes you think the place is dirty. The cells have a sink and a toilet and a slight a cot that kind of constitutes as a bed. You do have a blanket and a large pane of glass, and it's like the door is the glass and goes. And you're all locked in, and it seems that maybe the locking is actually linked to their suits, where you have a sort of like a compad here. And they lock it up. They lock each of you separately, and they sort of look over at a lot of you and say, you're probably going to need to wait around about a day until someone comes here for your case, and then you'll all be interviewed separately.
My shipmates and I are requiring some medical attention.
They kind of look you all over. Do any of you suffer from like bullet wounds right now? Or is it all?
I mean, I'm 3 out of 6, which I think historically is from being beaten up.
Yeah, you
I'm
were beaten up by. Yeah, see that's the thing. They check that.
Yeah, I'm 3 out of 7 from strangulation.
Exactly. They look you over. They don't see any bullet wounds, and they look at each other. Again, you probably figure that there's maybe some in-armor communication. And
I'm 6 out of 8. It was 5, but 1 healed.
You don't look bad enough for them to actually be that concerned.
Yeah,
but one of them does say, "Be like, a medic will come down to see you at some point."
Thank you.
And then they press a button, and all you hear like a hissing from each one of your doors, and then you can't hear much at all. Maybe if one of you sort of like tries to talk, you can't hear each other through the doors, and they leave you. After a little bit of time. Here, you do realize that there actually are vents between the rooms. They are all linked, aside from where the door is. Davis actually can talk into Rain and Jason's room. Rain can talk into Davis's room. Jason can talk into Davis's room. Tom has Mickey and Anna. Nice. He can't talk into theirs. You also can all very clearly see a sort of circular camera on the roof of this room, but no one's over watching you.
So we all in our separate cells.
You're all in separate cells, but you, Davis, and Rain can essentially talk to each other via vents in the walls. Anything you want to discuss while you're
I mean, it's one of those things where we're sitting there and trying to, I imagine, parse their own thoughts or whatever. And at one point in time, I'm just going to say, this is quite the situation.
Yep.
I should say Rain is slumped down. Rain is slumped down against a wall and has probably already fallen asleep a bit. It would probably be too quiet to hear, but she's just occasionally murmuring things in her sleep, and it doesn't seem like a very restful sleep.
I say it aloud again, intentionally for both of them. I say, for what it's worth, I apologize for my part in taking up this job. All the actions that all the decisions made since we started it.
If only you cared less, we could have just taken the money and run. Never mind. Unfortunately, Lisa didn't make it. She hit her head during one of the maneuvers, I believe.
I've known him for a very long time. Like, I have fairly intimate knowledge of him. So when he says that, I can't read facial expressions or any of that, but I can hear his voice. Can I roll to see if that sounds off?
What did you say, Neil? Do you want him to roll
He
for
sounds sad.
Yeah.
And if you knew him, you might realize it's a bit more than like losing a patient. It's different. It's more pain, less sadness.
I'm not seeing your face. So
no, I would say
you
you guys
like,
know each other enough that
I think you would
realize
have a
Okay.
fair chance of picking that up from the voice.
So am I talk? Sorry,
No,
talk
you just
wisdom.
know that.
I just know
Yeah,
that something's off.
that's why he described it to you that way.
My
yes.
apologies. Okay. So he was describing it for the viewers. Thank you. They can't actually hear the tone. They don't know the
did.
nuance
They
difference.
did though, but yes.
Shh, Ollie, this is our scene. You can go back in your dungeon.
They're all my scenes, don't you understand?
So,
And we
anyways,
sync off into our respective prison cells. And then you just hear whip noises.
All got time.
I always imagine out of game chatter as being like, if you ever seen Aeon Flux, like that, stepping out and having like the. Anyways, so I'll when you say that, there's a few seconds delay, and then I say, Rain.
Sleeping.
You hear snoring when you wait.
Well, you
I said,
you hear sort of vague murmurs that sound like sleepwalking.
I say it one more time. Rain, are you awake?
What's lab where? Yeah, I'm awake. Davis? Yeah.
It's okay. You just rest. I'm gonna let like 5 or 6 minutes pass for her to like slip again.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna make myself. I position myself so that because are they on either side of me? Is that how it is?
They are either side of you. You're looking opposite to Tomaz. If you imagine it's a circle.
Thomas is doing like push-ups and sit-ups, just like shirts off. He's just like, I don't want to talk to Mickey or Anna.
No, he
I
can't hear you, but you can see
Okay.
him. You can't see
Yeah.
them. You can see him. You can see Mickey, and you can see Anna. Mickey
Yeah,
is
like
just sort of
opposite lines,
Mickey
yeah.
is just sort of like this, and Anna is doing essentially the same thing that Tom has is.
Yeah, we're both just like doing sit-ups and push-ups. And...
And they're probably
So-
like shit talking each other through the vent as well.
So I'm gonna try to grab. So I'm gonna try to like speak. So it'd be more difficult for anybody else to hear, other than Jason. I'm gonna say, Jason,
Yep.
what did you do?
Anything for the nervous core?
Jason, we left that a long while ago.
The cameras, Davis. I might tell you if we get out of this.
I have a feeling like I don't want you to.
While you're having this moment, you can hear the movement of doors, and one of those guards comes over to Mickey's cell, opens it, handcuffs him, and drags him away. And it actually is a bit of a drag because Mickey is a slow walker and the guard is not.
Yeah. It's just annoying. Like, move it, old man.
Yeah.
I know that feeling. I hate walking by slow people.
Yeah,
You're like a
exactly.
crowded
You
mall.
are the guard in this
Fuck.
situation, and I'm the slow. Actually, I walk pretty fast, unless I'm walking with someone who walks slow, in which case I slow my pace because I'm nice.
Yeah, that's it. It's really, really. I can't. Move it.
Yeah.
So, shoulder past you. What are you, 16? You have a life to live.
Hey, I'm
Get on with
walking
it.
here.
Anyways,
Yeah, you
So,
see that? It kind of interrupts your moment, but then it gets all
so-
very quiet again.
so when I see him leave, then I'll change the conversation. I'm gonna say, I don't know. I love the man, but God, he makes some terrible decisions.
I can't say I'm pleased that we wound up in this scenario.
A Pike prison.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether a pike prison is worse than a pirate prison.
I imagine that at least with the pirate prison, it's not personal.
It's true.
You remember the stories that Steven told us when he got back from being POW?
Well, that's not official, remember?
Yeah, that doesn't matter. You think that they're a little different now that the war is, a little distant.
Well, depends on if they lose us in transit. I bet Excalibur would love to get their hands on us.
Fuck.
Speaking of which, the reason we did all this, they now have our ship, alien artifact and all.
Yeah.
What if this was all for nothing, Davis? What if everything we did, I did, was pointless?
You know, that's a question I've asked myself many times since I first signed up. It's, when you're out there doing your duty, it's a question you have to ask yourself every day. And I've always come with the same answer. You look about those that you love, places that you serve, and you think, if I didn't take these actions, how much worse would it be for them? We didn't start this war. You're not the one pushing any motive. We're just doing what we can for those that we love. Now we find ourselves in kind of a funny situation. Because here, we look like we're the bad guys. Trying to save not even just our own asses, but the Pikes as well, even if they don't realize it. So we have to decide, what decisions do we have to make to once again look out for those that we love and what we can do. I won't lie, this looks bad. I don't really see a way out of it, but I'm not willing to give up just yet. I'm not willing to allow our past transgressions to weigh in just yet. There's time to be judged. Let's not let that time be now.
Yeah. We'll get out of this. You just wait. I'll think of something.
Oh, you know, I keep you around for your brain.
Yeah, sure. My brain.
All right. With that, the rest of the day sort of travels. You probably have more conversations. You have a meal at 2 points in the day, and it is it would be like shitty like holding cell food, but it's actually it's from the same company that the Magpie's food is from. So you're just like, oh, okay. It's just like a sort of reheated like processed meal, and it's fine.
That's our dinner.
Hit point regen. This counts as a hit point regen.
I was gonna say you sleep for a night. You each heal 1.
Yay! 1 health point.
Yeah,
Nice.
you better be happy about that 1 health point, Mister.
Almost a maximum.
Well, if I now take 3 damage, I can survive it.
And that's why you need someone like Jason, because I'm fairly sure if he overwatches you sleeping, you get double or something like that.
Oh, do I get double?
No, because you can't medicine yourself. This isn't RimWorld. In the next day, the guards, one guard comes over with a different man. He's wearing the same uniform, but he doesn't have the helmet on. He's got a very handsome face, chiseled jaw, 5 o'clock shadow, short hair.
Me, basically. Just a bit older.
Kind of like you, but a bit older. Yeah, it's older Neil. And he kind of looks over the lot of you who remained. Mickey was never brought back.
Oh, shit.
And
They spaced him.
And he points and motions to Davis, but you can't hear. And the guard unlocks your cell with the command on the arm.
Sure.
And handcuffs you. And is like, you're coming with us. Questioning.
So we didn't really have any more time to go through our plan. Okay, so I'll go along.
As it goes by, Jason's like gonna notice him, and he's gonna stand up, and he's gonna be like, "Shit, Mickey's not back." And he will run up, and he's gonna. Can he bang? Is there something to bang on?
There's glass.
He will give that a good donk, just a single donk as he goes by, and
The
look at
single
Davis.
donk makes the guard look at you. The one without his helmet doesn't really question it, and he just sort of keeps walking, and brings you guys out the room. He leads you to not very far away, like a room away, a small little. It's essentially an interrogation room, but not to the extent it has torture equipment or anything. But just a small table. Your
why not?
handcuffs magnetized to the table, so you're kind of stuck there.
Redunk.
Yeah, and he sits on the other side, taking the rifle off his back, and you see his rifle is a little different to the others. It seems to be customized with some sort of underbarrel equipment. And he leans on the table. And he looks at a clipboard, looks at the compad on the table, and taps at it and says, Davis Nielsen.
Present.
You're a little away from home.
Not so far.
I'm gonna cut all the shit. We saw what your ship did. You blew another ship out of the sky.
That's right.
And it all comes down to one question, essentially. Did they have it coming? And that's what I need you to tell me.
You have my name, obviously. How much of me do you have on there? Do you have my record?
We have your record. I am wondering whether maybe because you didn't see enough combat on the field, you had too many rotations.
That apparently you didn't look at my
planet-side.
record very closely.
He kind of looks at that, the band of compad, and you just have the thought process of this is Pike. They're only going to have whatever your
No, I know
record is
that.
like.
I know that.
No, but I'm just saying for the audience, it's like all their record that's public, you know. So he just kind of looks back at it and probably is having that same realization as well. And you actually see him just like swipe something on the pad to the side.
So you've seen you've seen what I've participated in. You've seen the honors that I've received. You've seen the ships that I've served on and know where it was that they were placed during the times that I served on them. Okay, that's wonderful. But you don't see the reports. You don't see my objections. You don't see where I put my 2 cents in. And you don't know my opinion of everything that has transpired in the past and how it is I intend to live my life moving forward. Like I walk around in a military uniform every day because I'm proud of the war that we fought? No. But there is a certain amount of order that happens that you learn in the military. You learn to have a certain amount of respect for people around you, whether they be on your side or the other. Now, you don't just shoot a ship out of the sky for no reason. That doesn't happen. Do I come off as the kind of person that just needs bloodshed?
That's what we're trying to find out.
That ship was... It was dangerous.
We're going to need a little bit more than that.
Excalibur?
Are you saying that this was some kind of act that you committed on their behalf?
On behalf of Excalibur, a right-wing extremist organization on the behest of Pike? Yeah, I find that very unlikely. That was an Excalibur vessel.
According to all records, it was a merchant guild vessel, but things like that do slip by our radar. You see him sort of type something away, probably noting that. So you're saying that you did a good deed. You were ridding the world
I'm
of
not
some
in the
terrorists.
market of hunting down members of Excalibur and exterminating them. Once again, I don't look for bloodshed. They came to us. I don't know
why?
entirely their motive. I don't know entirely why it was. The captain was the one that had put together the plan for why we were meeting with them. Obviously, I have knowledge of certain details pertaining to that meeting, but honestly, that's between me and the captain. It's your responsibility to speak to him. He's the one that's in charge. However, they brought the fight to us. They were the aggressors, and we had to react in accordance for the safety of ourselves and everyone else. We tried to save one of theirs. Unfortunately, she didn't make it.
He types away more at his compad and kind of gives you a look, sort of a military officer to military officer look, although of course you might be thinking that like he's not really that much of a soldier sort of having this station. But you actually, Davis wouldn't have that sort of thought process. Not consciously anyway, I think. And he kind of nods. Interesting insight. I do wonder how a man like you ends up on a ship like that.
Once again, the war, at least my part in it, is over. I have no intention of continuing to live out that life. And for a quieter one, well, a little bit of excitement, if we're going to be honest. I need the stars. I need the excitement that happens from being out here and the challenges that we have to overcome. I need a competent crew to work with, but we get accustomed to certain lifestyles. I found a place that's, well, at least I believe, is comfortable for me. I imagine you found the other three.
Well, other three, you mean the dead people, I assume. Not, this is Ollie speaking.
Mm-hmm. Were they all dead?
They all got spaced.
I think you're talking about Scott is referring to the people on our ship, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
If you're talking referring to that, he nods. As though we found the 4 bodies on your ship. Yes.
What condition were those 3 in? Because I honestly don't remember them being dead.
3 unconscious, 1 deceased.
Have they come to?
That is for me to. That is for me to know. I do have to ask, considering it seems, based on records on your ship, that you are in charge of most of the daily operations. But I must ask why you have 3 unconscious people on your ship. It does speak of slavery and trafficking, and honestly, they would have been good specimens for it.
Do you know where they came from? Were you able to track any of that back, identify them in the least bit?
None of those vagrants had any sort of identification.
That makes sense. They
At this
bartered with
point,
us.
he stands up and he turns off the air conditioner that is connected to Will's camera.
Is it really loud? I'm sorry.
It's
I didn't know it was
incredibly loud.
You never
Oh.
said anything.
I have a fan.
Neil said
I
so
can't
in
hear anything
chat.
over like my live fan sound.
Yeah, Neil said in chat to shut up.
Oh.
Yeah, and actually, your fan doesn't do anything, but when you speak, Scott, for an extended period of time, you can hear it, like a sci-fi noise in the background.
I'm like,
It's still on. It's still not you, Scott. The fan man.
I'm doing it now. I have an app on my phone.
to what, mute?
Oh, you.
I'm turning the AC on.
But you could just mute yourself and have the AC on.
That's what
You're
it
up
is.
here for the
Look,
AC. The reason why he's in bed is because it's too hot. So, bed is like
I don't blame him.
the
I
hottest
just
place.
muted him. He's good. He can unmute himself when he's ready. A space bar unmutes you.
Whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Fuck it.
All right, so moving on.
Yeah.
So
keep going.
he gets up and imagine maybe the room's too cold for him. He adjusts the air.
Yeah, exactly.
So what
Pike's
was
a
I
hot
saying?
planet.
They bartered their way onto the vessel. There's record of that. We had come across them at Space Station XYZ, and they did a service, and in return we gave them passage. We were bringing them to the next location where we docked. They just wanted to be off of their home world. Are you familiar with that kind of person?
He types things down, and he just sort of makes sort of like a noise. He doesn't really add much. If you don't say anything for like a couple of moments, he'll stand up and be like, I think that's all I need for you for now. But I can always call you back in if I need you. And he
I
sort
look forward to our next conversation. Hopefully I have a little bit more insight.
he picks up his communicator, his data pad, and he sort of swipes something to a terminal that's beside him. There's like a turned off screen beside him. And he steps up and walks you back through. This is one point where I forgot to totally add. All of your rooms actually have a screen in as well. It doesn't seem to be connected to anything, and they're all turned off.
Okay.
Probably, actually, they're not all turned off. They're all playing like sort of like a sort of loop of like a sort of scenic, sort of forest scene to try and relax you.
Just to remind us of where we're not at the moment.
Yeah. It's a pretty big screen, and it's a pretty small room, so, you know, you can kind of forget for a little bit. He brings you back in, and at this point, the other guard opens up Jason's room and starts leading Jason out. Or goes to handcuff Jason. Does he offer his wrists willingly?
Offers more than that.
If you start to, like, if he holds up the handcuffs and you don't offer your wrists, you're muted, by the way. Emilio.
Doesn't like struggle, but he doesn't like hold his hands out to be easy or anything.
Oh, so he'll like grab your hands and
Yeah. He's like hands at his side. It's like you're gonna have to do the work.
Yeah, he quite roughly hand starts pulling and pulls you like you saw the way they took Davis away. It was like maybe a hand on the back. This is like pulling you along for a little bit, and actually so much that the guy without the helmet is just like, don't rough them up yet. Also, be right back. I hear a sad cat.
Let's put it down.
In the meantime, let me regale you with tales about me. I recently built.
Scott, could you mute Neil, please?
No,
Actually, I can.
no.
I can do that. Ian, sometimes you're the best person I've ever met. The rest of the time is Rick.
No, you're not.
You can't. Good man down.
Mute battle!
My favorite part is he's just spamming his own mute now.
That sounds so creepy.
It does. Oh,
She brought
that's
me
what, that's
the
what you
tiniest
subjected everybody
mouse.
to.
The tiniest little mouse, and it's still alive, so I'm just gonna let her deal with it. Brings what do you want about? What did you guys get up to while I was gone?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Well, that sounds not suspicious.
Watch the VOD.
They bring.
Yeah,
watch it.
What do you think? I edit this shit? All right. They bring Jason to the room, and he sits down. He didn't actually. The rifle is still there. Magnetizes to the desk, and he picks up his compad again and starts sort of swiping at it. Jason Finch.
Yes.
I must say, you have a handful of interesting individuals on your ship.
That we do.
So, let me try to understand your story. You're a doctor at an experimental science station. It gets blown up in terrorist activities. You join a ship that now starts hunting terrorists, trying to get back at them.
That escalated.
You should be aware that we were not hunting terrorists. You can get that data from the black box. Do you want me to show you how to access it?
I have engineers.
They're clearly very skilled. We were on a mission to collect something from... One moment, let me consult my map. To collect something from Halberd, or the space around Halberd. On the return, we decided that the artifact was dangerous. Can I retcon? I wouldn't have said artifact. I would have said item.
Sure.
Thank you. The item was dangerous, and we called for some extra assistance from our contact at the Merchants Guild. However, when they arrived, they didn't seem particularly capable, and this alerted us to some checks that needed to be made. Upon making checks, we discovered that this ship was manned by members of Excalibur. I presume you've heard of them?
We do know what's happened. We just want to hear your retelling of what happened.
Well, after this, I went back to the ship with their science officer, who I do not believe was a member of Excalibur, and we had a very pleasant chat about some science. I'd bore you with the details, but they'd go way over your head. And then the firing began. And I rushed to my station, and I protected the ship from the Excalibur hostiles who were attempting to take the item in question.
And that's where you chased them and you blew them out the sky.
Yes. I mean, unless you have so much faith in Pike forces being able to get rid of Excalibur, I don't believe they have done so far.
He sort of like looks at you for a bit and then goes, so tell me more about this scientist. I believe that you
Lisa,
are
we met
referring
briefly. She seemed bright, she seemed friendly. She didn't seem like the Excalibur sort.
Are you sure? Because she did turn up deceased on your vessel.
Yes, I'm aware. She hit her head, I believe, during the maneuvers, and unfortunately, by the time I got there, I wasn't able to save her.
It kind of like looks like right into your eyes for a few moments, and then looks back at his compounds like, so tell me about the 3 travelers you had aboard your ship and why they were all unconscious, tied to IVs.
They weren't unconscious, they were sedated. They were...
Seemed like type something.
They were asking for transport to Pike. We agreed after they helped us with some information, and we decided to transport them. They agreed in our cargo bay. However, they seemed to go mad after a short period. I was worried it was some form of viral disease infecting the brain, and so I quarantined them and sedated them for their own safety.
He types a few more things down and gives you like a long look, and then sort of presses the button to unmagnetize your handcuffs. You're probably the most confusing one of the lot of your crew. Well, not the most.
You mean not simple?
That, like, maybe that would have made some people smile. His just like brow furrows a bit more, and he sort of walks around you and sort of puts a hand on your shoulder and leads you out the door where the guard starts bringing you back. And that's one of like a sort of shoulder barge to the side to sort of like push you along.
As we leave, I'm well respected within Novus Corps military circles, and a man who can generate scientific weapons is a man to be missed.
Are you attempting to... he's like about to do the spiel, like, are you attempting to bribe an officer? But then he's like, and type something down while you're walking. But then you're pushed back into your cell. You do notice that your screen is on. It's still not showing. It's you know like when a screen goes from nothing to like black screen. It's noticeable. But this is an advanced screen because it's the fucking future. So it's not as noticeable, but your, computers and technology, and Thomas would have noticed that as well. At this point, he will actually go towards Thomas, and he will start bringing Thomas out of his cell, and that's where...
When he turns his back to me, I'm going to make some rude gestures so that Thomas can see.
Whatever the equivalent of the middle finger is.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah. Tomas is just starts like, he gives like a nice belly laugh as his door opens. Like,
yeah, and the thing is, it's like, it's...
silence.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was imagining.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, that's so good. I actually suggest that this is where we take our first little break, because I
don't want to take a break.
need to deal with my cat bringing me mice. So we're gonna take a...
Gulp it down like a velociraptor.
Yeah, exactly. She's bringing me my dinner, and I need to eat it. Okay, so I'm gonna... This might be like an actual 10-minute break, depending on how the situation... If I have to start running around trying to catch a mouse, it's gonna be a little while. So
I reckon that should be streamed.
There's enough of that.
No, it's animal
already.
cruelty. Yeah.
All right, we'll be back in a bit.